Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Ladies and gents, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back to a very special edition Sunday stream. We're streaming live on 4 different platforms across 6 different accounts, and I hope you guys have had a very good weekend. I hope it was very, very relaxing. I hope that everything has worked out quite nicely in your favor. And we are also streaming live on my personal Facebook as well. My personal Facebook, we are live. We are live on the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, my Twitter, Hardcore Sports Twitch, and the DJ Storms Posse Facebook page. This is the official rewind for WWE Royal Rumble 2023, which of course streamed live last night on Peacock at 8 p.m. Eastern Time from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. I was fairly excited going into the Royal Rumble. Because I wanted to see what Triple H would do. And to be quite honest with you, I was expecting to come on here and be a little bit more upbeat. I was expecting to come on here and be a little bit more positive. I was expecting to come on here and be a little bit more happy, a little bit more energetic, wound up, you know. But unfortunately, I don't really have the energy to come on here and be as hyped up as I normally would be. I don't know what happened. I'm not really sure how I'm going to conduct. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up ranting and raving and screaming like I normally do. But at the end of it all, and I really wasn't looking forward to saying this, but at the end of this all, we ended up getting the worst pay-per-view under Triple H's control. And I use that term very, very loosely. Triple H's control. I had a looming fear over myself going into the Royal Rumble 2023. I had a looming fear going into the show, specifically because of the one change that we didn't expect. We hoped it wasn't going to take place, but it ended up taking place. I want you guys to think back to when Triple H first took over. And let's go over the 5 pay-per-views that he produced. SummerSlam, Clash at the Castle, Extreme Rules, Crown Jewel, and Survivor Series. SummerSlam, for the most part, was already booked. Triple H made the most of what he was given, and we got a very good SummerSlam pay-per-view. Clash at the Castle ended up being the pay-per-view of the year in many aspects, not just for WWE, but for all of professional wrestling. Then you got Extreme Rules, which was probably the best Extreme Rules pay-per-view, probably since its inception in 2009. The Saudi show, Crown Jewel. The Saudi shows suck. The Saudi shows are terrible. That show ended up being a very, very, very good show. That was probably the best Saudi show that they've ever produced. Then you got Survivor Series. Survivor Series was a pay-per-view that was dead in the water. No one cared about Survivor Series. Survivor Series was just another lukewarm pay-per-view on WWE's pay-per-view calendar schedule. Triple H made it feel important with War Games. He took it from NXT. He put it on the main roster. And Survivor Series turned out to be a very good show. But I want you guys to think, what was the main difference between those shows and this show? What happened in between the time period when those shows took place versus when the Royal Rumble took place? What happened? What happened? The one thing that we hoped would not come true ended up coming true. And it came true 3 weeks ago. It came true 3 weeks ago on January 6th, Friday, 2023. I don't give a shit how much crap I receive for this. I don't give a shit what the dirt sheets or what the Wrestling Observer or Sean Ross Sapp or Steve Carrier of Ringside News are reporting. I don't give a shit what fucking Mike Johnson of PW Insider is saying. I don't give a shit how many people are going to jump on my ass for this and just rip me to shreds. I don't give a shit. I've never given a shit what anyone has thought of me. I always say it at the end of the day. The people hate what I say is because they know that I'm correct in what I say. They know that I'm factually correct. There is no fucking way. There is absolutely no fucking way that anyone is going to tell me after last night that Vince McMahon is not back in charge. I am letting everyone know this, and I want you to look at me, and I want you to hear the words that I'm saying. I want you to understand this. Vince McMahon is back in charge. Vince McMahon has an influence on WWE creative. Not all of it, because then it would be too obvious. To me, it's obvious. But he doesn't have control of all of it. But he's starting to inject some of his flavor into the WWE product like he did before he retired. Triple H and his flavor, his brand of professional wrestling is being tainted by what Vince McMahon is injecting into his show. In all honesty, this show, the Royal Rumble, felt like it was half Triple H and half Vince McMahon. It honestly felt like the two of them split the show in half. Half of the show was produced by Vince, and half the show was produced by Triple H. The outcomes were all correct. The outcomes to the matches were all correct. But the means to the ends all fell flat, except for the main event. That main event was great. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, they put on a very, very good main event, a great main event. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, two of the best in the world right now, they put on a great world championship match in the main event, and the ending was fantastic. The ending to that show, the ending angle to that pay-per-view was absolutely phenomenal. Whoever booked that, whoever produced that, I had a feeling it had Triple H written all over it, it had Roman Reigns, and it had Paul Heyman. Whoever produced that, I want to shake their hand and tell them they deserve a promotion tenfold. That main event, combined with the ending, was all fantastic. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns put on a fantastic main event, just like they usually do. And that closing segment, that closing angle, my God, I had chills. I had chills throughout that entire angle. Everything else, I wish I could say the same thing. I really wish I could say the same thing about everything else. But it was not to be. I wish I could say the same thing about everything else. I don't know what happened. But at the end of the day, fucking day, you cannot tell me that Vince is not back. Look at what we saw littered up and down that entire pay-per-view. Take out the main event, which was great. Take out that ending, which was spectacular. Take those two things out. Take the main event out and take the ending. Look up and down that Royal Rumble card. What did we get? Karrion Kross eliminated in 10 minutes. Chelsea Green eliminated in less than 5 seconds. The pitch black match. Horribly booked. Horribly produced. Alexa Bliss was in a pay-per-view championship match. Alexa Bliss fought Bianca Belair, and that match went longer than LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. How the fuck on any fucking planet does an Alexa Bliss match get more time than Bray Wyatt's first match back in WWE in nearly 2 fucking years? How does a Bray Wyatt and LA Knight match that has been built up for the last 2 months and Bray Wyatt's in-ring return hyped up for 2 months, how the fuck does that match get less time than an Alexa Bliss match? Where were the fucking surprises in the men's Royal Rumble? Where were the fucking surprises? Where was the genuine aura of the Royal Rumble? Where was the tension? Where was the suspense in the Royal Rumble? There was none. There was none. Half of this show felt Vince McMahon produced. And you are not going to tell me otherwise. Triple H, in no way, shape, or form, I am not going to sit here and stroke Triple H's dick. I'm not. I'm not going to sit here and praise Triple H up and down. Triple H is not a perfect booker. But with what we saw in the last 5 pay-per-views, with what we saw in the last 5 pay-per-views, and with NXT Black and Gold, there is no way that you can tell me that the majority of the decisions that were made at the show last night were made by Triple H. Kross being eliminated in 10 minutes, that wasn't Triple H, that was Vince McMahon. Chelsea Green being treated like a fucking jobber, that was Vince McMahon. Pitch Black match had Vince McMahon written all over it. The hokey shit with Bray Wyatt, Vince McMahon written all over it. Alexa Bliss and the Uncle Howdy storyline in that match, Vince McMahon written all over it. Cody Rhodes coming out at number 30 instead of actually going the distance, Vince McMahon written all over it. You are not going to tell me otherwise. And it's quite sad. It's quite sad. It really is. It's quite sad. And I'm actually sitting here. I'm sitting here not with intrigue going forward. I am not sitting here with intrigue for WrestleMania season going forward. You know what I'm actually sitting here with? I'm sitting here with worry. I am sitting here with legit fucking worry. I am sitting here with concern. I am sitting here with fear. I am sitting here with fear that as time goes on, we will see Vince McMahon institute more of his material, more of his vision for professional wrestling into what Triple H is trying to do and what Triple H is trying to create. That's what I'm afraid of. I am not looking forward to WrestleMania season at all after what happened last night at the Royal Rumble. I'm not. And Vince McMahon is never going to come out and admit that he's running creative. No one's ever going to come out and admit that Vince McMahon is instituting his flavor into the WWE product right now, and Triple H is not completely running the show. Triple H, just like he was with NXT with 2.0 with Shawn Michaels, Triple H is merely a puppet. Vince McMahon is the one pulling the strings. Everything about this Vince McMahon returning to the company, returning to the board, and trying to sell the company, it is all about him regaining power, regaining what he lost, obtaining the shit that was taken from him. He didn't willingly give it up. He had to forcefully relinquish it. They forced him out. They forced him out. And from then on, he came up with an elaborate plan from the jump to get it back. Triple H may have the final say, but Vince McMahon absolutely injected some of his shit and his vision into what we saw last night at the Royal Rumble. And we ended up getting a rather disappointing show. I expected a lot better. I really did. I expected a lot better from what we got last night. I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm not sure how it happened. I don't even know what to think. I really don't even know what to think. And to be quite honest with you, like I said before, I am not going into WrestleMania season with intrigue. I'm not excited. After what happened, I am not excited. I'm scared. I'm legitimately concerned. And if you are not worried that we could potentially see more of this shit, more of this nonsensical booking and the wrong decisions being made and the stories being told in the ring being rushed, it's too many quick eliminations, no surprises, no wow factor, nothing. If you are not legitimately worried, then I don't know what to fucking tell you. Outside of that main event with Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, and then outside of that ending, this is a complete waste of a pay-per-view, really. All the outcomes may have been correct, but the means to get to the outcomes, man, it is very hard for me to sit here and tell you that I'm intrigued and I'm interested in what is to come after the show. I am not intrigued and I am not interested whatsoever. I'm not. I'm really not. Vince McMahon clearly is back. And if you can't see that, then you know what? You're part of the fucking problem. If you're telling me that what we saw last night was 1,000% the work of Triple H, you're part of the fucking problem. You're part of the fucking problem. We are going to dissect everything that went down. I took long, extensive notes on everything that we saw. Long, extensive notes on the 30-man Royal Rumble match, the Women's Royal Rumble match, long, extensive notes on the Pitch Black match, and the main event. The main event and that ending, for sure, was easily the best thing on the show. And what we saw was absolutely phenomenal in terms of storytelling, in terms of the tension, the energy. Everything about that ending was special. And we're going to talk about exactly why it was as special as it was when we get to the main event. But first things first, we have plenty more to get into before we get to the main event. I wish I could just talk about the main event, but then I would not be doing my job. At the end of the day, Royal Rumble, what had the potential to be a promising show, turned out to be a rather lackluster show, not because the outcomes were not correct. Not because the outcome was not correct, but because of the simple fact that the means to the ends, the means did not justify the ends. Because of the simple fact that what we saw before we inevitably got to the end, that ruined everything. I hope you guys are in for a long stream. We'll probably go at least 2 hours. But I thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you very much to Hoolagrim. Thank you very much to Raphael. Thank you very much to Proud Mixed Child. It's been a hot minute. I'm glad to see you're back. Hooligrim is also in the chat. We had the final Hoss and Peanuts. Hope you guys are having a very, very nice and relaxing Saturday. Or you had a very nice and relaxing Saturday. I hope that you had a very nice and relaxing Sunday as well. And we are going to dissect everything that went down at the Royal Rumble last night in the Alamo Dome. As per usual, you already know the drill. Follow me on social media at HistoryMakerDJS, both on Twitter and Instagram. Check out all of the hardcore sports links. And, of course, please make sure that you add me on Facebook. Like the official DJ Storms business page. I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description. Please make sure that you go and check out any of the videos that you missed this week. My ISPW Winter Warfare vlog, the interview with Michael Mars. Shout out to Mitch Kofsky for appearing on the rundown for the Royal Rumble last Thursday. I'm still getting over the cold. So if I don't sound as good as I normally would, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please make sure that you like the stream. Like the stream no matter where you're watching it from, whether it be from Twitter or Twitch or Facebook or YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you share the stream out on all platforms, social media. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. This month has been a fantastic month for the DJ Storms brand. A fantastic month indeed. And I hope you guys are going to show me the same support and the same love that you did going into the month of February as well. I really do want to make 2023 the best year for the DJ Storms brand possible. So please make sure that you show your support, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because then you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. You already know the drill. Whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the absolute best fucking time. The best fucking time to be on YouTube. You get to see the glorious sideburn chin strap combo, the beautiful mustache right here. I also see that Dee Dee has also joined. Shout out to Dee Dee. You made it just in time to see the magic ace comb come into play with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of You already know the drill, because like Campbell's chicken noodle possibilities, I am just so good. I think I may get a haircut. Because I'm getting sick and tired of the long hair. Too much maintenance for me. But I hope you guys are in for a good stream. And we are going to get right into it. Royal Rumble 2023. We started off the show with the 30-man Royal Rumble. 30-man Royal Rumble. And we ended up getting what could have been a rather intriguing Rumble. It actually didn't start out all that bad. But in the end, it ended up turning out to be rather lackluster, which was rather disappointing. So, before the match, Pat McAfee returned, and Michael Cole marked out. Michael Cole absolutely marked out, which was fantastic, great to see, and Michael Cole happy that his broadcast partner is back in action. So good for Michael Cole. So Pat McAfee returned. You want me to be quite honest with you? You know what was the second best part of the Rumble? The first was obviously the main event and that segment that followed. You know what was the second best? Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee was the second best thing on the show. Pat McAfee is great. Number one was Gunther. Number two was Sheamus. And I was thinking to myself, man, this is a great call. They started off the Rumble on a high note. Sheamus and Gunther drawing number 1 and 2. Now That was a great call. Whoever made that call, I praise you. And I give my props to you. That was a great call. A great callback to what happened at Clash at the Castle. And one of the best matches of the year, easily, with Sheamus and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. So the action started out hot. Number 3 was The Miz. He tried to eliminate Sheamus. He finally got in the ring, and Gunther chopped the ever-living shit out of him. Miz was pretty much a punching bag. 4 was Kofi Kingston. Diving crossbody on Gunther and The Miz. Double boom drop. Kofi escaped elimination from Sheamus. 5 was Johnny Gargano. And Gargano actually had a decent showing in the Rumble. And I give my props to Triple H because that I know was Triple H. He was behind Johnny Gargano lasting 30 minutes in the Rumble. And he was also behind Gunther lasting over 70 minutes in the Rumble. So shout out to Triple H for those two. So number 6 was Xavier Woods. Him and Kofi did their thing where they slapped each other's asses. Stupid as always. I hate the New Day. I really do. I hate the New Day character. When the New Day are wrestling, they're great. When the New Day are in front of a camera doing their gimmick, they suck. I'm over the New Day. I really would love if the New Day would break up. I really wish the New Day would break up. Number 7 was Karrion Kross. This is where shit started to get really, really, I don't really want to say shitty, but things were not too shitty. Lisa, I acknowledged you. Lisa, I mentioned you in the chat. I don't think you're listening. You're not paying attention. I mentioned you in the chat. We were talking about being invisible. Come on. I do have a job to do. I have to read off this shit. So just chill. I mentioned you earlier. Gotta pay attention, people. So this is where things started to get a little Karrion Kross came in, and I was actually expecting a lot more from Karrion Kross. Gunther chopped Kross. They got into it. Yes, I did mention you earlier, Lisa. You weren't listening. I did mention you. So Gunther and Kross, they got into it. Now that is something that I'm intrigued by. That's a match I would love to see. Kross and Gunther. Number 8 was Chad Gable. Number 9 was Drew McIntyre. He lit up everyone, and he eliminated Karrion Kross within 5 minutes. This is where I started sensing Vince McMahon material. In no way, shape, or form would Triple H allow Karrion Kross, of all people, a man who he has given the world to, a man who he has groomed for a top spot, a man who was great in NXT, putting on bangers in NXT with Dominic Dijakovic and Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor. Loved him against Finn Balor. He had a very good match with Drew McIntyre at Extreme Rules, a very good match with Drew McIntyre at Crown Jewel in the Steel Cage match, and then in the span of 48 hours, he gets beaten by Rey Mysterio via a crucifix roll-up, and then he gets eliminated by Drew McIntyre in 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes. 5 minutes. That right there is all that I need to know that Vince McMahon is in charge. You would never, ever see Triple H take someone like Karrion Kross after how well he has treated him over the years and have him lose to Rey Mysterio in a fluky 10-minute match with a crucifix roll-up and then get eliminated from the Rumble by Drew McIntyre in that fashion. You are not going to tell me that that was not Vince. That had Vince written all over it. So Drew McIntyre and Gunther, they mixed it up. That's something I'd love to see down the line. Number 10 was Santos Escobar. Angelo Dawkins was number 11. I don't know why. Here's another thing. Why is Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford in the Royal Rumble? Why is Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford in the fucking Royal Rumble? Why exactly are we wasting Royal Rumble spots on the Street Profits? Why exactly aren't we getting surprises? The only genuine surprise that we got in this Royal Rumble was Booker T. Of all fucking people, Booker T. Cody wasn't a surprise. We expected him to come back and they advertised him. Edge wasn't a real surprise. People pitched Edge as well. If the Judgment Day were going to be in the Rumble, which they were, then Edge was going to be in the Royal Rumble. And he was. Logan Paul wasn't even a legit surprise. We kind of expected that Logan Paul was going to be back in time, and he was. Those weren't surprises. Booker T was the only surprise. And he looked fantastic, by the way. He looked amazing. WWE really couldn't have been bothered to call up anybody else. They couldn't have been bothered to call up like a legend of some sort. They couldn't have called up the Godfather or something like that for a cheap pop. They couldn't have called up a classic guy from the Ruthless Aggression era. They couldn't have called up someone like that. They couldn't have called up, I don't know, Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy was great. I would have loved to have seen a Mr. Kennedy come back to the Royal Rumble. That would have been a great moment. Why not Mr. Kennedy? Hell, I would have even taken Wade Barrett as well. Why wasn't Wade Barrett there? Just a one-off. A one-off for Wade Barrett. I would have loved to see that. Nothing. A one-off for Bad News Barrett. Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam would have been a great, great surprise. What about NXT? Here's a question that I have before we continue on. Why did the women's Royal Rumble match have NXT women? Zoe Stark actually got a very nice showcase in the Royal Rumble. Why did the women's Royal Rumble have NXT women, but yet the men's Royal Rumble did not have any NXT individuals whatsoever? No Braun Breaker, no Carmelo Hayes, no Grayson Waller, no Tony D'Angelo, no, not even so much as a Wes Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, no Dijak, no nothing. Nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. Who produced that? Who produced that? That was another thing that made me think of Vince McMahon. Another thing that made me think of Vince McMahon. No NXT individuals. They pretty much had no choice but to bring up NXT individuals for the Women's Royal Rumble because they weren't going to litter that shit with legends and returns. How many returns did we really get in the Women's Royal Rumble? Like 3? 3 legit returns in the Women's Royal Rumble? Chelsea Green, Michelle McCool, and Nia Jax. That was about it. That was it. They had no choice but to dip into the NXT banner. No Zack Ryder, no Chris Masters, no Matt Cardona, no Carlito Caribbean Cool, nothing. Nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. Whoever made that, I know Vince made that call. That was fucking terrible. No real surprises. No genuine wow factor. Kingston crashed and burned. This was terrible also. Xavier Woods was eliminated by Gunther. Kingston tried for his patented crazy Royal Rumble save. Crazy Royal Rumble save, right? And he crashed and burned onto the announce chair. The chair completely fucking flipped over because it was on fucking wheels. Chair completely fucking flipped over, discombobulated, and Kofi legitimately looked like he almost hit his head on the announce table. I think we are past. We are well past. We are well done with these crazy Royal Rumble saves. I think we're done with that shit. We really are done with that shit. If Kofi Kingston is not going to win the Rumble, I really just think it's best that we keep him out. Kofi Kingston, it's pointless now. It really is pointless. I think I'm done with Kofi Kingston and the crazy Royal Rumble saves. The first couple times were great. The first couple of times were great. The first time when Kofi Kingston, he stood on his hands to prevent his feet from hitting the ground. Then he used the chair as a pogo stick. Then he jumped from the barricade to the ring. After that, the first three times were easily the best 3 times that Kofi did it. After that, I'm done. I'm done. No more of that shit. No more of the crazy Royal Rumble spots with Kofi Kingston. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's really becoming counterproductive. So, Brock Lesnar was number 12. Lesnar ran wild on everyone. He eliminated Gable, Escobar, and Angelo Dawkins. Man, what a great way to treat those guys. I mean, you couldn't have at least thrown some surprises in there and had Lesnar eliminate some surprises. You could have had Lesnar eliminate someone like a Mr. Kennedy or a Wade Barrett or something like that. You could have at least had Brock Lesnar go and run wild on the surprises. I mean, The Miz could have easily stayed in to get eliminated by Brock Lesnar because The Miz is worthless. Come on. Lashley was number 13. Lashley came in. He was spearing everyone. And as soon as Lesnar came in, Lesnar was gone. It was virtually a waste of time for Brock Lesnar. Lashley eliminated Lesnar as expected. And they are heading on a collision course for WrestleMania. And to be quite honest with you, I don't really care for that match. We've seen it twice, and I think we are well past Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. I don't understand why we can't get Brock Lesnar in there with someone new like a Karrion Kross. I think that would be a much better choice than a third match with Brock Lesnar. Or Bobby Lashley, rather, excuse me. Brock Lesnar does not need to be fighting Bobby Lashley a third time. I think we're past that. So Lesnar was pretty much a waste of a Royal Rumble spot. Corbin came out at number 14. Lesnar attacked him, and Corbin got F5'd. Lesnar also attacked the ref. He was pissed. Number 15 was Seth Rollins. It would have been better to just do a singles match with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar at the pay-per-view, plain and simple. Rollins tossed Corbin into the ring after delivering a stomp to him, and he eliminated him. McAfee laughed. Number 16 was Otis. Number 17 was Rey Mysterio, but he didn't come out. And I do have news as to why Rey Mysterio didn't come out. Rollins eliminated Lashley. So it was virtually a waste of spot for Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Now, number 18 was Dominic Mysterio, and he came out wearing Rey Mysterio's mask, which was great. Cole then called Dominic a piece of shit. He didn't actually say it, but he called Dominic a piece of shit. So, for those of you wondering why Rey Mysterio was not at the Royal Rumble, Rey Mysterio was supposed to be the 17th entrant in the Royal Rumble, and he was even supposed to have an altercation with his son Dominic. But Dave Meltzer reported that Rey Mysterio was injured last night. He said this last night on the review of the Rumble. Rey Mysterio was injured on Friday Night SmackDown in Laredo, Texas, during the tapings in the match with Karrion Kross. He was supposed to be in the Rumble, but the spot was changed. And then what had happened was they did the spot where he was supposed to come out. He didn't come out, and Dominic came out, and it was supposed to be teasers for a match that what was to come at WrestleMania, which I do believe that Rey Mysterio and Dominic will be facing off one-on-one at WrestleMania, but Rey's injury prevented that. He did also report that Rey Mysterio's injury is not anything serious, but I guess it was serious enough where he couldn't do what was planned for the match. Now, I would have had Rey come in and get eliminated by Kross to have Kross get his revenge, but you have to remember, Vince McMahon is now injecting his flavor into the show. Number 19 was Elias. He bashed the guitar over Gunther's back, only to get eliminated by Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, the Banger Bros, with a Claymore and a Bro Kick combination. Don't know why Elias is even in the Royal Rumble. That was quite pathetic, if you ask me. That was pathetic. Elias should not be in the Royal Rumble if he's not going to last a long time. And to be quite honest with you, Elias is a dead character anyway. I'm not even gonna bullshit you. I actually prefer Ezekiel over Elias. I really do. Number 20 was Finn Balor. Number 21 was Booker T. And just before Booker T came out, the Judgment Day eliminated Johnny Gargano. Absolutely no shame in Johnny Gargano being eliminated by the Judgment Day. He lasted over 30 minutes, and he had a decent showcase, so I'm happy about that. 21 was Booker T. He looked great. Bookend by Balor. Spinaroonie connects. Gunther then eliminated him, and Gunther goes on his reign of dominance as he usually is. 22 was Damian Priest. 23 was Montez Ford. Ford nearly eliminated Dom. Ford evaded elimination from Balor. Priest then dumped Ford over the top rope. And the whole Judgment Day was in the ring. The whole Judgment Day was in the ring. 24 was Edge. He returned for revenge. He went over into the ring, spear to Priest, spear to Dominic, spear to Balor. Priest was gone. Balor was gone. Edge then tried to eliminate Dominic, but the Judgment Day, who was still at ringside, ended up eliminating Edge because it was no disqualification. So Edge once again got fucked over by the Judgment Day, and Edge's appearance was pretty much a wasted appearance. 90 seconds, not even. Number 25. Number 25 was Austin Theory. And Edge was taking the fight to Priest and Balor on the ramp. Rhea Ripley then attacked Edge. All of a sudden, Beth Phoenix returned and speared Rhea Ripley. So Beth and Edge, they ended up standing tall, and I do believe that this is going to lead to a mixed tag team match between Edge, Beth Phoenix, Rhea Ripley, and Finn Balor at the Elimination Chamber. And that is going to be the final stop for Rhea Ripley before she should, win the Raw Women's Championship from Bianca Belair. 26 was Omos. Thankfully, he did not last very long in this match. Omos botching and flopping everywhere. Gunther went after Omos. Omos delivered a big choke slam to Gunther. 27 was Braun Strowman. He had a face-off with Omos. They traded punches and blows. Clothesline, sending Omos to the floor. Thank God Omos is gone. Thank fucking Christ Omos is gone. 28 was Ricochet. Strowman was sent over the top rope, but he was able to hang on. Double beats of the Bowdrin by the Banger Bros. So then Gunther took advantage, and Gunther ended up eliminating both Sheamus and McIntyre at the same time. Gunther was having a fantastic Royal Rumble. And my God, did Gunther look like a fucking beast. Gunther looked great. Gunther looked awesome. So, 29 was Logan Paul, and everyone attacked him. Of course they did. That got a pop from the crowd. Everyone attacked Logan Paul, which got a pop from the crowd. Paul delivered a buckshot lariat on Ricochet. This is where things really started to go downhill a little bit. Cody Rhodes was number 30. And all 30 competitors were in the ring. Cody Rhodes is number 30. Cody Rhodes with a Cody Cutter on Theory. Crossroads on Dom. Goodbye Dominic Mysterio. Strowman with a powerbomb. Ricochet tried to take down Gunther. He did. Ricochet and Logan Paul had a face-off. And this was actually a great spot in the Rumble. Logan Paul and Ricochet with a double springboard crossbody across the ring. Ricochet was on the right side. Logan Paul was on the left. They did a double springboard flying crossbody in the air, and they collided in midair. Which looked great. So Strowman was then eliminated by Cody. Theory eliminated Ricochet. The final four were Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Gunther, and Rhodes. Rollins with a stomp to Austin Theory. Cody eliminated Theory. Gunther was in there with Cody, and Rollins. And we thought that those were the final three. Cody and Rollins then decided to one-up each other. They were trying to one-up each other, going back and forth and fighting Gunther, delivering one pedigree to Gunther, and then the other delivers a pedigree to Gunther. Logan Paul was still in the match. Logan Paul came in out of nowhere and eliminated Seth Rollins. That looks to be a WrestleMania match, and if I'm going to be quite honest with you, I don't think anyone should be complaining that we are getting a WrestleMania match between Logan Paul and Seth Rollins. And the reason why I say that is because after what Logan Paul did all the way back at Crown Jewel with Roman Reigns and how great of a professional wrestler he is, I don't think anyone has any right to complain about Logan Paul because the guy is fucking incredible at what he does. The guy is a fantastic professional wrestler, and him and Rollins are going to put on an absolute fucking banger. An absolute banger, if that's the match. Rhodes, with a crossroads, he eliminated Logan Paul. It came down to Gunther and Cody, and they had a great back and forth. Great struggle. Gunther with a superplex on Cody. Cody went for the Cody Cutter. He tried to get Gunther over the top. He worked on Gunther's legs. A little tribute to Goldust with the Shattered Dreams. Gunther came back with a powerbomb. Cody was on the apron. Gunther with a sleeper. Which was great. All of a sudden, he went for a chop. He got the chop. Went for the last symphony. But Cody Rhodes reversed it into a crossroads. Rhodes eliminates Gunther, and Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble match. This was a mixed bag of emotions. Cody Rhodes, I will tell you this right now. Cody Rhodes was the right winner. Cody Rhodes was absolutely the right winner. But at the end of the fucking day, the means, I'm going to use that a lot, the means to get to the end was terrible. Cody Rhodes, coming out at number 30, that's not so much the problem. The problem is that they hyped him up, saying that he was coming back at number 30, and Cody Rhodes all of a sudden comes back at number 30. He was advertised to be in the Rumble. We didn't know when he was going to come out. Cody comes back after an injury, spends 15 minutes in the match with someone who's been in there for 70 minutes, and pretty much takes away all the work that Gunther did to make himself look like a beast. Now, granted, Gunther is Gunther. He's bulletproof. Gunther lasting 70-plus minutes, breaking Rey Mysterio's record, and ultimately making the Intercontinental Championship look like a prestigious championship at the end of all of this. That right there is exactly what the Royal Rumble's all about. Gunther had an incredible performance, and that right there, that was the work of Triple H. That was fantastic. But at the end of the fucking day, if Cody Rhodes is going to come back at number 30, then you shouldn't have hyped him up. Cody Rhodes should have remained silent. There should have been no promo packages. There should have been no teasers. There should have been no hints. Cody Rhodes should have remained absolutely silent. Silent! And he should have came out at number 30. That would have been a genuine surprise. If not, Cody should have at least came out in the middle of the Royal Rumble, and Cody Rhodes should have gone at least 30, 40 minutes in order to win the Royal Rumble. There is no fucking reason as to why Cody needed to be hyped up just to return at number 30. Now, he got a decent pop, but everything that transpired, it legitimately made Cody Rhodes and his win less impactful. It made it feel less impactful. On top of that, like I already said, not enough surprises. Booker T was the only real, genuine surprise. Seems as though WWE got lazy. Seems as though WWE got lazy. They had the winner in mind, they had the Final Four in mind, and at the end of the day, they were just going to go with it. They were just going to roll with it, and at the end of the day, they didn't really care about the surprises. Reportedly, they were very happy and pleased with the surprises. I don't know how they could be. If anything, that sounds like Vince McMahon was pleased with the surprises. Vince didn't care. Now, Triple H may have the final say, but at the end of the day, this felt like a 50-50 booked Royal Rumble. 50% Vince, 50% Triple H. And I do not understand the logic behind hyping up Cody Rhodes only for him to return at number 30. It honestly taints his victory. It taints his victory. And if I'm going to be quite honest with you, the only reason why Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble is because he did not get the rightful world title match that he should have gotten at SummerSlam. It should have been Cody and Roman at SummerSlam last year, not Roman and Lesnar. If Cody didn't go down with the injury, I would have been pitching to everyone Rhodes and Roman at SummerSlam with Rhodes winning the championship. This was not a Triple H produced Rumble in full. I understand you want to advance storylines. I understand you want to focus on the current roster, but the Royal Rumble is supposed to be a special event with legit fucking surprises. And if you're going to tell me that this Royal Rumble had that aura, that wow factor, then you know what? You're a part of the fucking problem. I'm not saying the entire match needs to be littered with surprises, but there's nothing stopping you from at least getting 4 or 5 individuals. We didn't need Angelo Dawkins. We didn't need Montez Ford. Omos shouldn't have even been a thought in anyone's mind. We should have gotten at least a couple of NXT guys in there, at least a Braun Breaker, at least a Carmelo Hayes, at least a Grayson Waller, if you weren't going to call back any legends. We didn't necessarily need the legends, but I mean, holy shit. Wouldn't it have been so much more impactful if Braun Breaker was one of the individuals in the Final Four? Really? One of the individuals in the Final Four, maybe a Carmelo Hayes was one of the individuals in the Final 5, maybe? It's stupid. Now, it wasn't bad. The match overall wasn't bad, but it felt flat. It felt flat. It was better than last year's, but it felt flat. It honestly felt flat. The outcome was right. The outcome was right. But the way that they got to the outcome, I can't get behind that. I really can't. Too many rapid-fire eliminations, no surprises minus Booker T, and Cody Rhodes should not have won from the number 30 spot. Cody should have at least won from the halfway point. Easily. Should have at least won from the halfway point. Now, what do we have? Now what do we have? You have Cody Rhodes, especially after what happened in the end of that show. Cody Rhodes pretty much is the second biggest babyface in WWE right now. And honest to God, with Cody coming out at number 30 and winning it, WWE is now playing a very dangerous game in which we could very well see the reincarnation of Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan from 2015. The crowd wants Bryan Danielson. The crowd wants Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is Bryan Danielson, and WWE is playing a very dangerous game by having Cody Rhodes win the Rumble at number 30 in the way that he did, where they could end up cheering for Sami to beat Roman and booing Cody Rhodes. If they don't play their cards right and shit does not work out as it should work out, Cody Rhodes is going to be booed post-WrestleMania after he wins the World Championship. He is. He honestly is. Right outcome, better than last year, but the production of the whole Rumble fell flat. Production of that Rumble fell absolutely flat, and it ended up being rather disappointing. There was no real energy. There was no real tension. There was no real struggle. There was nothing. It was just there. It was a match that was simply just there. I don't know what they need to do, but someone really needs to start thinking about getting shit with the Royal Rumble back in shape. They need to start getting more surprises. They need to start featuring NXT superstars. They need to get rid of the fluff in the Royal Rumble. LA Knight and Bray Wyatt, Mountain Dew pitch black match. Another disappointment. And you know what? That sucks. That sucks because I am a massive fan and a massive advocate for both of these guys. And when we inevitably saw the match and we were seeing it play out, I'm going to be quite honest, they weren't doing too bad for each other at all. They were not doing too bad whatsoever. It was kind of cheesy at some points, but overall, the match actually started out pretty decent. And then it just ended. It just ended. So Wyatt looked great. He had this neon spread and neon face paint and glow-in-the-dark makeup on him. He had these red contacts, and I don't know if he had teeth in like fake dentures in him or not, but he looked phenomenal. He looked menacing. He looked fucking menacing. We had these face paint all over his arms and all these crazy designs. Wyatt looked like a fucking killer. And LA Knight, he had glow-in-the-dark neon trunks. We had the Mountain Dew logo on the ring. That was glow-in-the-dark. The ropes were glow-in-the-dark. We had a glow-in-the-dark kendo stick. We had glow-in-the-dark announce table. We had glow-in-the-dark barricades. The lights technically were out, but everything else was neon. Every other thing was neon, and it took a little bit to get used to, but they were actually doing pretty well for themselves. Wyatt was moving around very nicely. Wyatt didn't look like he missed a step. LA Knight then moved the steps next to the announce table, and I'm like, all right, now I think we're starting to get interesting. LA Knight, he hurdled the barricade and dove off the barricade with a crossbody onto Wyatt, off the steps, through the announce table. That looked great, actually. Wyatt then chucked the toolbox into the ring. Knight then pulled a glow-in-the-dark kendo stick out of the ring and started bashing Bray Wyatt with it. And then all of a sudden, Wyatt catches LA Knight into a Sister Abigail, and it just ends abruptly. It just ends abruptly. Afterwards, Wyatt put on a weird-looking mask. LA Knight ran off into the crowd. Wyatt was stalking him. LA Knight was hitting Wyatt in the head with the kendo stick. And they brawled onto a platform. Bray Wyatt no-sold the kendo stick shots. Mandible claw to LA Knight on the platform. LA Knight was laid out on the platform. Uncle Howdy was then up on the ledge right above Bray Wyatt. Wyatt looked up, and Uncle Howdy was right above him on a ledge. And Uncle Howdy does a coffin drop off of the ledge onto the platform. And they were saying that he hit LA Knight, but he did not hit LA Knight. He completely fucking missed him. I saw LA Knight laying on the platform, and he completely fucking missed him. He did not do a coffin drop onto LA Knight. Completely fucking missed him. Completely missed him. And then pyro went off and fire went off. And then you see Firefly Funhouse characters hanging over the ledge. I think Rambling Rabbit was there, and Abby the Witch and Huskus the Pig was there. You see these Firefly Funhouse characters hanging over the ledge, and that was it. That was it. I didn't mind the ending angle. But I mean, holy shit. Holy shit. I don't understand how you have a feud like LA Knight and Bray Wyatt that was built up for 2 months. Bray Wyatt's return hyped up for 4 months, and all they get is 5 minutes. A gimmick match, a WWE-sponsored match that realistically everyone expected to be shit, It was cheesy at first, but then they actually started getting a little chaotic. They weren't doing too bad for themselves. All of a sudden, it ends in 5 fucking minutes. It ends in 5 fucking minutes, and Bray Wyatt, once again, is shafted. LA Knight looked like a fucking jobber. LA Knight looked like a fucking jobber against Bray Wyatt. And if anything, all this did was show you that WWE continues to shun away. They continue to shun away time after time again. They shun away the one thing that the fans want to see, and that is professional wrestling. That's all we fucking want. All we want is professional wrestling. If you would have given these guys another 10 minutes, then you know what? This could have ended up being a positive on the show. How exactly are we supposed to be invested in an individual that we've wanted to succeed for so long if you only give him 5 minutes? You only give him 5 minutes, and LA Knight, who has had a breakout performance in this feud with Bray Wyatt, how do you only give him 5 fucking minutes after everything that they did to make us invested in this storyline, and you give him 5 fucking minutes in a pitch black match, and it was actually pretty decent, and it just abruptly ends, all for a fucking shitty angle. They're on Peacock. Don't give me the shit that they were short for time. They're on fucking Peacock. They can go as long as they fucking want. They're a part of NBC Universal. NBC Universal loves the WWE product. It's a fucking joke. An absolute fucking joke. Why? Why did this only go 5 minutes? And then you got Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair. They went 7 minutes. They went 7 minutes. Imagine that. This had Vince McMahon written all over it. You know what this obviously was? I guarantee you right now that these two individuals, LA Knight and Bray Wyatt, I guarantee you right now that they were actually going to put on a pretty damn good match in the end. If they were given another 10 minutes, this would have been a pretty damn good match at the end of all of it. I guarantee you right now that they had plenty more spots planned for that match. But I honestly do believe that Vince sabotaged the pitch black match because he fucking wanted to stick it to Triple H. He wanted to stick it to LA Knight. He wanted to stick it to Triple H for changing LA Knight from Max Dupree back into LA Knight, and he wanted to stick it to Bray Wyatt. He wanted to stick it to Triple H for bringing back Bray Wyatt, and he wanted to embarrass them. He wanted to make them look bad, and you know what? He succeeded. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. A fucking joke. Bray Wyatt wins. The more I see this shit, the more I miss the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt. The Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt was the best gimmick that Bray Wyatt had. That was the perfect combination of in-ring ability and character. There was no cheesy hocus-pocus magic. There was no shitty gimmick matches. It was Bray Wyatt with the character that he had and the great mic skills that he had, and he was putting on fucking bangers as the Eater of Worlds with Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. Jon Moxley, Rollins, Reigns, Jericho. He was doing great. He was doing great. John Cena as well. John Cena and AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt. I remember they had a fantastic triple threat match on SmackDown when it was on Tuesdays. I want that Bray Wyatt back. Bray Wyatt, once again, shafted. They did not do Bray Wyatt right. 5 minutes. 5 fucking minutes. Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair. Who cares? This match was 7 minutes. What happened here was a complete waste of time. Bianca Belair ended up winning with the KOD. Once again, I state, in no way, shape, or form should an Alexa Bliss match be going longer than a Bray Wyatt match, especially when Bray's coming back after 2 years away, and Bray Wyatt is having his first match in 2 years. He's having his first major feud in 2 years, and LA Knight and Bray Wyatt did everything in their power to make you care, and they ultimately shit the bed because of poor fucking booking. Bianca Belair wins with the KOD. An absolute nothing match. Afterwards, we had a playground promo package with Uncle Howdy, and he asked Alexa Bliss, "Do you feel in charge?" And that was it. They better start forming the Wyatt Six quickly. We need Vincent. We need Dutch. We need Brother Bo Dallas. We need Bliss as the managerial figure. And we need Eric Redbeard back. We do. We need all those individuals in there with Bray Wyatt as the Wyatt Six. And we need to get them in feuds with the Judgment Day. We need to get them in feuds with the Hurt Business. We need to get them in feuds with the Bloodline. We need to get them in feuds with the Brawling Brutes. We need to get them in feuds with Imperium. We need to get this shit rolling because right now, Bray Wyatt is not being done right. Let's get Bray Wyatt wrestling in 10 to 12-minute matches in the ring ASAP. No more of the spooky hocus pocus bullshit. Give us Bray Wyatt, the professional wrestler. Give us more Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, and less of the spooky hocus pocus Avada Kedavra, Harry Potter, Bray Wyatt. 30 women Royal Rumble match. I'm going to be quite honest with you. This match was actually better produced than the men's Royal Rumble match. This was better produced than the men's Royal Rumble match, but it was still lackluster. But if I'm given a choice between the two Royal Rumble matches, I'm going with the women. And the WWE's women's division sucks, but I'm still going with the women. Rhea Ripley was number 1. Liv Morgan was number 2. I'll tell you one thing that made the women's Royal Rumble match better than the men. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley started out the Rumble, and they ended the Rumble. They started out the Rumble at numbers 1 and 2, and they ended the Rumble at numbers 1 and 2 with Rhea Ripley winning. And that was a great, great decision. Whoever made, I guarantee that was a Triple H move. Great move. Number 3 was Dana Brooke. 4 was Emma. We had number 5, number 6 being Rhea Ripley. Excuse me, not Rhea Ripley, Bayley. Number 7 was B-Fab. B-Fab was eliminated by Rhea Ripley in about 30 seconds. Number 8, Roxanne Perez. And Roxanne Perez, she looked great. Roxanne Perez looked great. She had a beautiful head scissor takedown on Rhea Ripley. Number 9 was Dakota Kai. 10 was Io Sky. Damage Control was at full strength. Dana Brooke was eliminated. Emma was eliminated, and Perez was eliminated. Damage Control was cleaning house. Number 11 was Natalya. Or number 5 was Shayna Baszler. I completely skipped over her. Number 5 was Shayna Baszler. Number 10, Io Sky. Number 11 was Natalya. Number 12 was Candice LeRae. Natalya went right after Shayna because Shayna broke Natalya's nose. Number 13 was Zoe Stark. And this is where things started to get interesting because Zoe Stark, she actually had a very good performance in the Royal Rumble. Number 14 was Xia Li. And at this point, I was asking, why do the NXT women get a showcase in their Rumble, but the men of NXT, they don't get a showcase in their Rumble? Stupid. Stupid. Makes no sense. You could have easily have swapped out the Street Profits for Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. That would have been great. 15 was Becky Lynch. She went right after Damage Control. 16 was Tegan Nox. Molly go round on Rhea Ripley. She had a decent little showcase as well. Codebreaker by Liv Morgan. Number 17 was Asuka. And I actually marked out when she took the mask off and she had a full face of face paint with short hair. She looked like what she did in New Japan or Stardom, whatever promotion she was wrestling in before. She looked like a fucking killer. She looked like a beast. And my God, am I fucking happy to see Asuka back. If you want my honest take, if I was booking this, I would absolutely have Asuka challenge Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, and I would redo the match that we should have gotten at WrestleMania 34 with Asuka beating Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship and correcting that mistake. from WrestleMania 34. That's what I would do. I would have Asuka go to SmackDown, and I would put Asuka in the Elimination Chamber, have Asuka win the Chamber, and have Asuka go and fight Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, and we have Asuka and Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title, with Asuka winning. Rhea fights Bianca. That is the best use of the Women's Championships at WrestleMania. And I would actually not mind seeing Charlotte Flair in a match with Asuka, because those two have put on great matches in the past. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I am doing Asuka going to SmackDown, entering the Chamber, winning the Chamber, and beating Charlotte at WrestleMania. That's what I'm doing. Number 18 was Piper Niven. Great to see her back. Piper Niven was number 19. Or number 18, rather. She looked good. Number 19 was Tamina. Still wondering why Tamina still has a job. Becky, who was taken out by Damage Control, finally got back up. She took out Damage Control, all of them, and she inevitably was eliminated again by Damage Control. She was eliminated. She eliminated both members of Damage Control, Io Sky and Dakota Kai, ultimately to get eliminated by Bayley. Number 20 was Chelsea Green. And I was actually looking forward to this. I was actually looking forward to seeing what Chelsea Green could do. And Chelsea Green, she went into the Rumble. She got in there. She lasted 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Brought back to the WWE. And on night 1, eliminated in 5 seconds. That was Vince McMahon right there. That was a Vince McMahon-esque move, and that had Vince McMahon written all over it, right down to the very last letter. You are not going to tell me otherwise. That was a shit move. Shit move right from the jump. Pathetic. So then, after that, and that utter disgrace, Becky Lynch eliminated Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Bayley eliminated Becky. Liv eliminated Bayley. That was big for Liv Morgan. Becky then continued to fight with Damage Control into the crowd. 21 was Zelina Vega. She looked great, actually. She had this Street Fighter combination gear on, which actually looked very, very nice. She had a code red on Rhea Ripley. She and Xia Li. Codebreaker on Piper Niven. Vega was actually moving around pretty swiftly, I gotta say. Vega was moving around pretty swiftly. 22 was Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel had a nice little performance as well. Number 23 was Mia Yim. Tornado DDT on Stark. Enziguri on Rhea. Tornado DDT on Rhea Ripley. 24 was Lacey Evans. And the crowd goes mild. Thankfully, she did not win. 25 was Michelle McCool. She was legitimately sitting in the front row. She took off her jacket, hopped over the barricade, and she wrestled in Ugg boots. Tamina was eliminated. Number 26 was Indy Hartwell. And I was very, very pleased to see Indy Hartwell, because I think Indy Hartwell is very, very good at what she does. Number 27 was Sonya Deville. She eliminated Zoe Stark. Lacey Evans with a Cobra Clutch eliminated Zelina Vega. Number 28 was Shotzi. Crossbody onto the pile. Sonya then eliminated Indy Hartwell. 29 was Nikki Cross. She ran down to the ring and lit up everyone. Then all of a sudden, we had number 30. And my fucking God, help us all. And reportedly, she is back full time. I pray. I legit pray for the women's division. You want to talk about women's wrestling being fucking dead? Nia Jax is back. And we are in for potentially, once again, Botchamania being revived. Botchamania sucks, if I'm going to be quite honest. I hate Botchamania and that YouTube channel. But at the end of the day, I think that they're going to have a field day with Nia Jax now that she's back. Nia fucking Jax. And once again, you think that I'm fucking crazy when I tell you that Vince McMahon is back in control? You honestly think I'm fucking crazy? I ain't fucking crazy. I know what I see. And I know Triple H, as much as he cared for Nia when she was down in NXT, and Nia wasn't bad at all in NXT, you know damn fucking well that Triple H knew that Nia was going nowhere. The only reason why Nia stayed as a member of the WWE roster for as long as she did was because of The Rock. And I guarantee you right now that they brought Nia Jax in specifically as yet another desperate attempt to get Dwayne. And Dwayne still didn't show up at the Rumble, which I'm happy that he didn't. So she was eliminated, thank God. Thank God she was eliminated. She didn't do anything in the Rumble. Lacey Evans was eliminated by Raquel. Asuka eliminated Sonya. Ripley eliminated Michelle McCool. Shotzi was gone. Piper Niven was eliminated by Raquel. And we were down to the final three. Cross was eliminated by Morgan. It was Morgan, Asuka, and Rhea Ripley. Morgan, Asuka, and Rhea Ripley, and whoever produced this ending, I would love to shake your hand because you did a fantastic job with this ending. Morgan, Asuka, and Rhea Ripley, all three women were on the apron. All three women were on the apron. Asuka, she went for the blue mist, the poison mist on Rhea Ripley. Ripley ducked. She hit Liv Morgan. Ripley did a 619 around the ropes into a leg sweep, a 619 into a leg sweep, tripping Asuka up, and Asuka was gone. Asuka was gone. Ripley was then tripped up by Liv Morgan. Ripley was hanging on for dear life. Liv Morgan couldn't see. She was feeling around for everything like a blind man. She grabbed Rhea Ripley's hands and started punching her hands to try and get her to let go. All of a sudden, Rhea Ripley skins the cat. Her ankles and her feet wrapped around Liv Morgan's neck, pulled her down. Morgan is eliminated, and Rhea Ripley wins the Royal Rumble, going wire to wire, breaking Bianca Belair's record, and Rhea Ripley ends up going to WrestleMania. She will now have a choice between Charlotte or Bianca, and I could not be happier about this. I could not be happier about this. They made Rhea Ripley, if not already, they made her into a fucking superstar. Out of everyone in that Rumble, Rhea Ripley was the most deserving individual. Rhea Ripley suffered through so much shit at the hands of Vince McMahon, and now finally, even if it was years down the line, even if it took some time, finally, Rhea Ripley gets her just due. Finally. I've been waiting for this for the longest time now, and I could not be happier for Rhea Ripley and what she has accomplished. Could not be happier for her. And I hope to God that they make the right decision. I hope to God they make the right decision and they choose Bianca. Bianca and Rhea is the match. Rhea is the correct woman to be leading that division. Rhea Ripley is the only intriguing entity in that division right now. Everyone else, flat, boring, no energy, no aura. Everyone else, blah. Rhea Ripley needs to be the face of the Monday Night Raw Women's Division. Plain and simple. Better than the men's. Better than the men's, but still lackluster. Rhea Ripley made into an absolute fucking superstar. Hardy had a performance at the Royal Rumble, singing his song Sold Out. Now, the band was great. I think the guitarist and the drummer were fucking great, but Hardy did not sing well. Hardy did not sing well at all. Listen, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but how the fuck do we go from Hell Yeah by Rev Theory, which is my favorite song of all time? I'm not even joking. Not just one of the best WWE theme songs for a pay-per-view, but it's my personal favorite song of all time. I love Hell Yeah by Rev Theory. Rev Theory is a great band. And that song, it always gets me hyped. Always gets me hyped. Always gets me pumped. How do we go from Hell Yeah by Rev Theory for a typical one-night stand pay-per-view? That was for One Night Stand in 2008. How do we go from Hell Yeah by Rev Theory to this? How do we go by Hell Yeah by Rev Theory to Hardy? He did not sing well. He did not sing well at all. I think it's about time that we get away from the mainstream media music and we get back to rock and roll. We get back to legit rock. I want to hear Rev Theory. I want to hear Puddle of Mud. I remember Puddle of Mud. They created a song for WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. It was famous. I want to hear Sick Puppies, You're Going Down. I want to hear songs like that. I want to hear some AC/DC. I want to hear some Motley Crue. This music is trash. This and modern day pop and rap sucks. Sucks. Now we get to the main event. It was Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. This was a great main event. Even if you take away the ending, this was a great main event. So, before the show, Roman Reigns told the Usos to stay in the back. Twins, keep your asses in the back. Tonight is Sami's night. Roman Reigns said he wanted Sami Zayn attached at his hip. Sami Zayn must be attached at his hip at all times. At all times. Sami Zayn was out there with the wise man. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. The action started right out of the gate. Owens with a senton and a cannonball. Roman Reigns with a Uranagi. Roman with a drive-by for 2. Owens tried to mount the comeback. Owens was sent to the floor. Frog splash off the apron. Back in the ring. Frog splash into the ring for a 2 count. Roman Reigns, sit out, powerbomb for a 2. Owens with a German suplex. Superman punch by Roman. Owens kicked out. Roman was sent into the post head first. Super kick by Owens. Swanton bomb. Roman Reigns kicked out. Owens then went for a double jump moonsault attempt. He slipped the first time. I'd like to hope he didn't injure anything. I really like to hope he didn't injure anything because if he did, that would suck. But he got back up and he delivered a moonsault from the middle rope, which I'm happy he did. He looked fine. Roman Reigns with a spear. Owens kicked out. Owens was then shoved into the official. Pop-up powerbomb, but there was no referee to count. Reigns with a low blow right on the fucking button. Low blow. Sami was told to get a chair. He got a chair. He handed it to Roman Reigns, but it was a very hesitant hand of the chair. The referee was in the ring. Roman Reigns caught with a stunner. Stunner by Owens. Roman kicked out. Superman punch again. Spear again. Owens kicked out again. Owens then crawled over to Sami Zayn, and Sami was telling Owens to just stay down. Roman gave no fucks. Roman spear to Owens through the barricade. Owens rolled out again. Owens was then sent headfirst into the steps twice. Sami Zayn then threw up the one to the sky. Owens was caught with one final spear, and that was enough. That was enough to keep Kevin Owens down. Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship, as he should, in what was a very good main event. And if I'm going to be quite honest with you, the only thing to go out of your way to watch on this show. Then we got the ending. So Jay had the Hawaiian lei. He had the Hawaiian lei, and he was getting ready to crown. Sami Zayn as an official member of the Bloodline. Roman Reigns stopped him. Roman Reigns said, no, this is not over. The Usos attacked Kevin Owens. Usos with the 1D. Roman put his arm around Sami Zayn as Sami Zayn watched, and Sami Zayn watched in a little bit of disgust. He had a little bit of a blank look on his face, but he had this look of disgust as well. He almost looked like he wanted to cry. Solo then with a hip attack to Owens with a chair wrapped around his neck. Roman then took out handcuffs. And he handcuffed Owens to the ropes, one on the right, one on the left, as Kevin Owens was being crucified, as if he was Jesus Christ being nailed to the cross, getting ready to be sacrificed for his sins against the Roman Empire. So Owens was handcuffed by both hands. Owens was then super kicked over and over and over and over again. Super kick. Sami's facial expressions told the whole story. Reigns was getting ready to hit Kevin Owens with a chair. He had the chair up, getting ready to hit him. Sami Zayn got in between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn received a huge pop. He was tuning out the crowd. He was trying to explain to Roman, listen, this isn't you. You've already proven your point. It's done. It's over. He's not coming back. He's not going to do anything. This is beneath you, said Sami Zayn. You're already the tribal chief. You won. So then Roman lowers the chair down. Roman then hands it to Sami. He goes, I shouldn't do it. You do it. He told him to take the chair, and this is great right here. He said, you're one of us. He said to Sami, you're one of us. You're ours now. This is your ring when you're with the Bloodline. Pull the trigger, said Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn couldn't do it. Sami Zayn had the chair up, and he was hesitant to hit Kevin Owens with it. Roman Reigns was mouthing off to Owens. He turned around. Sami Zayn was crying. He was crying. Roman Reigns goes, are you crying? And Paul Heyman's on the side going, there's no crying in the Bloodline. Sami was crying. Sami was absolutely bawling. Crying was Sami Zayn. Roman then face-palmed him. Face-palmed him a second time. He was forehead to forehead with him. He got in his face and he goes, this is your moment. This is my life. You think this is a game. This is my life. Now do it. Reigns mouthing off to Owens again. Sami Zayn raised up the chair and he bashed Roman Reigns in the back with the steel chair in a callback to how Seth Rollins bashed Roman Reigns in the back with a steel chair on Monday Night Raw when he dismantled the Shield. Bashed Roman Reigns with the chair, did Sami Zayn. Roman Reigns goes down. Roman Reigns, his facial expression was great. He didn't know what to fucking think. He was distraught. Sami then turned to the Usos, threw the chair down, threw his hands up, and he said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jay screamed, what are you doing? I thought you were my brother, man. Jay was distraught. Jay cried. Jimmy Uso super kicked Sami Zayn. Jimmy Uso, the guy that Sami befriended first. The guy that Sami befriended first of all people after Sami pulled the trigger and made his choice, sealed his fate. Jimmy was the one. Jimmy was the one to throw the first shot. Jimmy super kicked Sami. And he goes to Jay. He goes, that's your brother? No, I'm your brother. He got in Jay's face. Jimmy with a ground and pound on Sami. Solo with the Samoan spike. Roman got into it as well. Jay was in the corner while the Bloodline were beating down Sami Zayn. And then they were asking, Jay, what are you doing? What are you doing? Jay Uso walked out. Well, he walked out. Jay Uso fucking walked out. Jay Uso walked out up the ramp crying because he was distraught. And it's brilliant storytelling because Jay Uso was the one that hated Sami Zayn this whole time. And then when Sami finally gave in, finally offered Owens as a sacrifice at War Games to the Bloodline, and Sami Zayn finally, after all these months, finally received the approval of Jay Uso. And Jay Uso welcomed Sami into the Bloodline, and Jay Uso trusted Sami Zayn. Jay Uso was the one hurt by this the most because he knew that Sami Zayn was being genuine, and he just wanted approval from Jay. Sami just wanted approval from Jay. And when Jay finally gave it to him, Jay finally welcomed Sami into the family. Jay was distraught because he couldn't believe that Sami Zayn would hit the tribal chief in the back with a steel chair. Jay was the one distraught the most. He was so distraught that he could not even do anything but walk up the ramp crying. And Roman, you heard Roman screaming, you broke my family. And he delivered chair shot after chair shot after chair shot to Sami Zayn. He ripped off the honorary Uso shirt, and Roman Reigns dropped the pedals from the Samoan lei. He took the Samoan lei, dropping the pedals on the floor. And as he was leaving, the crowd chanting, fuck you, Roman. The show goes off the air with the crowd chanting for Sami and chanting, fuck you, Roman. Do you want to know why this was so spectacular? I'll tell you exactly why this was so spectacular. I'll tell you why this was so great. And this saved the show. I'll tell you exactly why this was so great. 2 reasons. The best part about all of this is the fact that Sami Zayn is finally being appreciated in the manner that we all know he should have been appreciated in from the get-go. Once upon a time, Sami Zayn was one of the best baby faces in the company. Matter of fact, no, he was the best baby face in the company. 2014 was Sami Zayn's year. Sami Zayn was the #1 babyface in WWE in 2014. It was not John Cena. It was not Roman Reigns. It was not Dean Ambrose. It was not anyone. It was Sami Zayn in NXT. He was the #1 babyface. his journey in NXT throughout 2014, it reminded me of Jeff Hardy's journey. It reminded me of Jeff Hardy's journey throughout 2008, where Jeff Hardy went on a journey throughout the year, finally becoming the WWE champion. Finally becoming the WWE champion at Armageddon in 2008. Sami Zayn going on a year-long journey throughout 2014, how he couldn't win the big one. He couldn't win the big one in NXT, and he finally won the big one by defeating Pac, aka Adrian Neville, at NXT TakeOver Our Evolution in December of 2014. Finally, after so many months, finally, he wins the NXT Championship, and he was the best babyface in WWE at the time, number one. Then he gets called up to the main roster, and he was disrespected, underutilized, undervalued, treated like shit, treated like a glorified enhancement talent. He knew that. Vince knew he was a good wrestler, but he didn't care. He saw Sami Zayn as nothing more than a guy that was going to help others get over. That's all that Sami Zayn was. It took Sami Zayn 4 years to win his first championship on the main roster. Sami Zayn should have been a multi-time world champion by the time we hit 2019. Sami Zayn should have been a multi-time world heavyweight champion. It should have been Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the main event of WrestleMania 32. WrestleMania 32. Or 33. I'm sorry. I'm losing my fucking count of WrestleMania here. That just goes to show you how irrelevant WrestleMania has been over the last decade. WrestleMania 33, when Owens was Universal Champion. It should have been Owens going into WrestleMania. Sami Zayn should have won the Royal Rumble that year. And it should have been Sami versus Owens for the Universal Championship, with Sami winning the championship. They had so many opportunities to pull the trigger and so many opportunities to make Sami Zayn the number one guy. The number one guy. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And then we get to 2022. Sami Zayn started out as a chicken shit, lukewarm, cowardly heel, and Sami Zayn was still in the same glorified jobber position that he was in several years ago when they brought him up from NXT. Sami Zayn started to become affiliated with the Bloodline. And Sami Zayn and his rise to superstardom, his popularity rise. Everything that happened over the course of this year. Sami Zayn, all we ever wanted for Sami Zayn, all we ever wanted was for him to be accepted. All we wanted was for him to be accepted. All we wanted was for him to be accepted. And with the Bloodline, we were living vicariously through Sami Zayn. We were living vicariously through Sami Zayn because all we wanted was for Sami Zayn to be in a position in which we can praise him, in which we can support him, a position that he's earned, a position that he should have had years ago, a position that Sami Zayn has paid his fucking dues for. And we finally got that. Finally got that with the Bloodline storyline. And it happened organically. He was never supposed to be this over. It all happened organically. It all happened so organically, and the crowd just took to Sami Zayn. We started to see just how likable of an individual Sami Zayn is because he was allowed to go out there and do what he does best. He was allowed to go out there and be himself and be funny and be lovable. He was allowed to go out there and do what he was put on this earth to do, entertain. And then we started seeing him wrestle more. And he was actually competing in really competitive matches with the likes of Matt Riddle and the likes of Kevin Owens and so many other individuals, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. He was taking bullets for the bloodline. He was crowned the honorary Uso. The storyline with Jey Uso and everything that happened there, it made Sami Zayn into, once again, the biggest babyface in WWE. And now he's back in the same position that he was in when he was in NXT. Now he's back in the same position that he was in when he was in NXT. And it all happened organically. You want to know why else this storyline is so great? It's because Sami Zayn single-handedly rejuvenated the bloodline. Roman Reigns, whether you want to admit it or not, coming out of the Royal Rumble last year and coming out of WrestleMania and that terrible match with Brock Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania 38, Roman Reigns and the Tribal Chief character, no matter how you want to look at it, Roman Reigns was dead. Dead in the water. I'm not saying because he's not great. Roman Reigns is great. What he did with the World Championship and how many bangers he's put on has been impressive. And then you got the Usos. The Usos are also great. But at the end of the day, the bloodline were flat because there was no one left to feud with them. They ran through everyone. The bloodline ran through everyone. They were just sitting on an island unto themselves, no pun intended. They were just on a mountaintop with no one else even close to their level. There was no one to be the yin to their yang, the Marco to their Polo, the Spider-Man to their Doc Ock, the Batman to their Joker. There was no one to be the top-tier babyface that was going to help them get more over than they already are. They were just in a stationary position, and no one cared about them because at the end of the day, Vince booked the bloodline at the top with nobody else to feud with them. They ran through everyone on the roster, and no one looked credible against the bloodline. Then along came Sami Zayn. Without Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns and the bloodline would not be as hot as they are. Vince killed the bloodline because all he did was push them and no one else. Sami Zayn rejuvenated the bloodline because of his just likability, his just lovable personality. Sami Zayn rejuvenated an entire faction from being on the brink of no one caring about them. No one was going to give a shit about the bloodline after WrestleMania. There was no one to even stand toe-to-toe with them. Sami Zayn rejuvenated the bloodline. And Sami Zayn, with this lovable mentality, and how he just organically connected with so many individuals in the WWE universe, and the entire fans, the fan base just took to Sami Zayn so much. The entire fan base took to Sami Zayn so much. All we wanted was for Sami Zayn to be appreciated. The tension, the energy, the chills, everything about this. There has not been a storyline that has been this big, that has been this intense, that has been this energetic. There hasn't been a storyline in WWE on the main roster that has been this exciting since the height of the Yes Movement with Bryan Danielson. And I'm telling you, it's ridiculous to even think about, but the rise of Sami and the rise of Daniel Bryan has been practically identical. The rise of both men has been practically identical. Daniel Bryan was going up against an authoritative group that did not want him in a high position of power. Sami Zayn, he wanted to be a part of an authoritative group, and he was tied to an authoritative group just like Daniel Bryan was, and he was not aware that Roman Reigns was just using him because he wanted himself to stay in power. He was using other individuals to stay the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. Kevin Owens told Sami Zayn, this is what's happening. Roman doesn't care about you. Roman is using you. And then, finally, at the Royal Rumble, Sami Zayn realized that Kevin Owens was right. The Bloodline doesn't give a shit about Sami Zayn. All the Bloodline cares about is making sure they are still at the top of the mountain, and they will be at the top of the mountain for as long as they possibly can. Sami, all he wanted to do was be accepted. All Bryan wanted to do was be accepted and be the main event guy. All Sami wanted to do was be a top priority guy. And he didn't even realize that Roman Reigns was trying to keep him under his thumb. Until now. He made his choice. His fate was sealed. That's why this storyline is so great. That's why this was absolutely spectacular. The crowd chanting, "Fuck you, Roman," because all they ever wanted was for Sami Zayn to be appreciated. And Sami Zayn, when he finally realized what the Bloodline were doing with him, and we all knew what the Bloodline were doing with Sami Zayn, because we're not stupid. We all know what the Bloodline were doing with Sami Zayn, but we all hoped that it would turn the corner and the Bloodline would really appreciate Sami Zayn. Really. It was not to be. Sami Zayn made his choice. And I'm telling you right now, when we get to Montreal in 3 weeks, at the Elimination Chamber, I'm telling you right now, that crowd is going to make Sami and Roman that much more over, that much better, and we could end up seeing a full-blown match. They could end up being the match the entire year for professional wrestling. I would not be shocked if we get a legit match of the year candidate with Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber. I honestly do believe. I had chills. I had chills running up and down my spine. Chills running up and down my spine, and I cannot wait to see how this unfolds. The one thing that I'm worried about with what happened with the Rumble, I am worried, and I didn't really think much of it until this morning because I saw some people pitching it. I saw some people talking about it. I didn't think of it last night, but I thought of it now, and this is why I like to wait. Take my notes and let everything sink in before I talk about it, and I don't talk about it right after the show. WWE needs to be very careful because at the end of the day, with Cody winning the Rumble in the manner that he did, it is going to be very, very difficult for WWE to even come close. They won't even come close. They will not come close to generating a story between Cody and Roman that is going to be as good as the story that we've seen with Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns over the course of the last year. No way. And that's what's going to be the sad part. I honestly am afraid that we could end up looking down the barrel of another Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan scenario from Royal Rumble 2015. It wasn't apparent last night. It didn't showcase anything last night, but we have to keep our eyes on it because it could end up revealing itself. Something to keep an eye on. But that ending, absolutely spectacular. Absolutely phenomenal. Spectacular from start to finish. I had chills running up and down my spine. And this WrestleMania season, if anything, we are going to go into it with a lot of dread because of what happened with the majority of the show and the fact that Vince, you cannot convince me otherwise, Vince is back in charge. Not completely, but he is pitching ideas and he has influence on creative. If anything, the one thing that we will be able to hang our hat on is the Sami Zayn storyline with the Bloodline. Amazing. I do not even have the words to describe it. There are not enough words in the English dictionary to describe it. Unbelievable stuff. I really wish that this show would have been a little bit better, but I honestly don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened, but I can only assume, and I feel it in my gut. I really do. I feel it in my gut that we are indeed entering into a Vince McMahon era once again. And Vince McMahon is indeed back in control of the WWE. I don't like it, but unfortunately, I think it's something that we are going to grow accustomed to once again. And we're going to grow accustomed to shitting on the majority of the WWE product with very few praise in between. I am more afraid and more worried for WrestleMania season than I am excited. And this show, what could have been a great show that looked pretty decent on paper, ended up completely shitting the bed because Vince McMahon is already starting to include his influence on WWE Creative once again. Triple H did not fully produce this show, and you're not going to tell me otherwise. But outside that main event and that ending segment, no reason to watch. No reason to go back and rewatch the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we had some more technical difficulties. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm going to try and see if I can fix this shit up and get shit back on the right track. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video and this stream across all of my social media platforms that I've been streaming on. You guys are great. Thank you to Sleeping Angels. Thank you to Lisa. Thank you to DD. Thank you to Hula Grim. Thank you to Peanuts. You guys are great. And this week has been a fantastic week for the DJ Storms brand, especially yesterday for the Lightning Flash update. Yesterday for the Lightning Flash update, you guys came in clutch. You guys came in clutch. You guys came in clutch. We are almost at 200 views for the Lightning Flash update from yesterday. Even when it was littered from start to finish with technical difficulties, you guys are loyal to the motherfucking soil, and I could not be more happier to have you guys as friends, as fans, as posse members. You guys are amazing, and I really do hope that you guys have a phenomenal weekend. This wraps up The Rewind. Thank you once again for everyone for tuning in. Please do not forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Check out all the links in the description. And of course, Thursday, we got the rundown for NXT Vengeance Day with Earl Cole. Rundown for NXT Vengeance Day with Earl Cole. We will be live on Thursday at 7:30. Lightning Flash update coming to you this Saturday. And then next Sunday, we got ourselves the Rewind. I almost said rundown again. Rewind for NXT Vengeance Day. So yet another busy weekend for the DJ Storms brand. It is going to be fun. It's going to be action-packed. Do not miss it. Do not miss it at all. You are going to want to be there for it from start to finish. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. This has been The Rewind. But before we get out of here, even through all the bullshit and the technical difficulties, tell me, people, I want you to tell me, who runs the IWC? Say it. I want to hear everyone in the chat. I want to see everyone in the chat type it out. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see it. You guys are really going to make me wait. You guys are really going to make me wait to answer this? You really want to make me wait? Or do I have to answer it for you? There we go. There we go. I've been waiting for it. Everybody saying it with me. Who but DJ motherfucking Storms? Don't you forget it. Because at the end of the day, you're all living in my world. And I will catch you guys on Thursday.